New questions today in America's Second Amendment debate after First Lady Michelle Obama chose to discuss the need for new gun control, in her opinion, during an interview with Good Morning America. During that interview, the First Lady said that 15-year-old Hadia Pendleton, who was shot and killed in Chicago just after she performed in the president's inauguration, the First Lady saying that she was shot because, quote, some kids had automatic weapons they didn't need. A detail not supported by police or apparently the facts. Chicago authorities have said they believe, in fact, that this child was shot by a handgun. However, in the video clip, the mention of automatic weapons was edited out. Listen.
She was standing out in a park with her friends in a neighborhood blocks away from where my kids grew up, where our house is. And she was caught in the line of fire. I just don't want to keep disappointing our kids in this country. I want them to know that we put them first.
So in the piece that aired on TV, they edited out the bit about the automatic weapons. ABC claims they did that for the sake of time. This is their full website version of Mrs. Obama's statement. This is Mrs. Obama, as she actually spoke. She was standing out in a park with her friends in a neighborhood blocks away from where my kids grew up. This is Michelle Obama speaking. Where our house is. She had just taken a chemistry test, and she was caught in the line of fire because some kids had automatic weapons they didn't need. I just don't want to keep disappointing our kids in this country. I want them to know that we put them first. Joining me now, Lars Larson, syndicated radio host of Compass Media Networks. So ABC edited out the part where Michelle Obama said that the child had just taken a chemistry test, not particularly relevant. But then they edited out this other line saying they left in she was caught in the line of fire. And then they edited out where she said, because some kids had some automatic weapons they didn't need. And now some are saying that was the news organization trying to cover for her. I don't, to me what's interesting is that this is the First Lady commenting on a very controversial issue and a case she should know very well because this little girl's parents sat with her in the visitor's box at the State of the Union. And Michelle Obama says something that is just not supported by the facts, Lars.
No, it's not. But are you shocked that the mainstream media is carrying water for this kind of ridiculous policy change? The other issue is, and I don't know if you care about this, but what does being married to the president, how does that qualify you to start getting involved in the formation of policies that run counter to the Second Amendment, to the laws and the point of view of most Americans, Megyn? But the business, even in the way that she framed it, if you're going to be somebody who pushes a policy to have automatic weapons that they don't need, do you mind if I deconstruct that? Number one, there were no automatic weapons, almost guaranteed, certainly not an automatic pistol, which are exceedingly rare. Automatic weapons have been largely illegal in the United States without all kinds of crazy taxes and registration with the federal government. It's almost certain that the people who had this gun that shot this poor woman, Ms. Pendleton, and killed her were criminals, not children, not kids, and that they had a weapon, a gun, but we don't know whether it was a pistol or a semi-automatic pistol. But the First Lady shows, A, she's talking about something she knows absolutely nothing about and puts her ignorance on display. Then ABC decides to edit the tape so that the First Lady does not appear to be as ignorant as she is on the subject. And then the fact that she downplays the criminals who killed this young woman as kids with guns they didn't need. How about criminals who were illegally possessing a firearm and using it to commit murder? Why is it that the people who say they're so anxious to protect children are not willing to label the murderers of children as not children who have something they shouldn't have, but murderers, criminals?
You know, the curious thing about the edit, and ABC News says it edited it for time, and in their defense, Lars, we do that all the time. No, but we do that all the time. People give long, rambling answers, and you try to figure out what's most relevant. You put it in the soundbite. You only have a certain amount of time to offer, your reports. So you have to make those decisions. But what was interesting to me about the edit is they seem to edit out the crux of her point. Her point was that these kids had these automatic weapons they didn't need, and I don't want to keep disappointing the kids in this country. I want them to know we put them first. That was her point, is that these weapons never should have been in the hands of these kids. So why take that piece out? And I don't know why. I don't know. They say it was for time.
Megyn, you know I've been in radio and TV for 38 years. I edit for time all the time. But you never take out the part of the soundbite that is relevant to the story that you're covering, except in this case where they took it out, I believe, to protect the First Lady from appearing to be ignorant on the subject. Because obviously, if you've interviewed somebody who doesn't know something about a subject and you're using them to make a point about that subject, the story itself falls apart, unless your point is to say this is how uninformed the President and the First Lady and most of the people on that side of this particular subject are about the subject. But it goes to their credibility. That's for you, the lawyer. It goes to their credibility on the subject. She doesn't have any credibility, and ABC is trying to do this for her, which is the last thing journalists ought to be doing.
Well, it's a dangerous role for the First Lady as well, as you point out. I mean, you know, we saw her Sunday night at the Oscars, and there she's a star in her own right, and she's given this, you know, this honor of presenting the Best Picture Oscar, which is, you know, the biggest one, the best one. And then, you know, she's going out on a limb and discussing a controversial issue that the country's very divided on. And if you're going to speak to that, especially as a First Lady, you got to have your facts right. I'll give you the last word, Lars.
You would hope she did. And what she needed to say was criminals murdered this young lady and criminals with guns should be prosecuted. But that doesn't, her husband's own proposal does not address pistols, which are the deadliest thing in Chicago.
Yeah. The Cook County State's Attorney is talking about increasing minimum sentences and requiring at least 85% of those sentences to be served. You've got to serve more time. That's where they're focused on a local level in Chicago, which is less controversial.
That's
Lars,
appropriate.
Thank you. Thank you.